In a minute, we're going to be talking about solving quadratic equations. I'll show you the method. There's a lot of methods, but in the meantime, while we're waiting, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. Let's tap in. What's going on, everybody? My name is Dana Harris with Gurus Math Tutoring, and I'm back again to drop some more math jewels. In this video, we're going to be solving quadratic equations by finding the square roots. So we're going to be using the square roots to solve quadratic equations. First example, let's get right into it. Now, when you solve quadratic equations, the method is still the same, like linear equations, and so you still have to use inverse operations, but the difference is when we're solving a quadratic equation, the graph is different, so it means something different when you solve the quadratic equation. As you can see, we have 3x squared equals 27. My goal is to get x by itself, so the first thing I want to do is the opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides so that I can keep my equation balanced. These cancel, or technically 3 divided by 3 equals 1. 1 times x squared leaves you with x squared. So x squared equals 9. Now we have a square root. In order to get that x by itself, the opposite of a number to the second power is taking the square root. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. In this case, 9 is a perfect square number. Remember, you have to have the positive and the negative side of that perfect square. So x equals plus or minus 3. What does that mean? I can substitute positive 3 or negative 3 in for x, and the equation will balance out on both sides. In the next example, same concept, we're doing the same thing. I have 1/3 x squared, and it equals to 4. Now, I need to get rid of that 1/3. Well, in order to get rid of a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1/3 is simply 3. You can write it as 3 over 1, same thing. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Boom, right there and right there. These cancel. Remember, 3 times 1/3 is equal to 1. And 1 times x squared is just x squared. So boom, I'm left with x squared equals 12. Same thing. In order to get rid of that exponent, I need to take the square root. So take the square root there, take the square root there. X equals plus or minus the square root of 12. Now, in this case, we don't necessarily want to break this radical down. There is another concept. There's other concepts in which you actually would simplify that radical. But for the sake of this equation, we want to keep it like that. Because when you actually substitute it into this equation, you'll need that exact answer. Always remember too, when we're solving a quadratic equation, we're finding the zeros. We're basically finding the value of x in which the graph will touch the x-axis. It's really the x-intercept. Here, we have a little more in this example. I have negative x squared plus 2, and that's going to be equal to x squared plus 1. So this is a little more detailed, right? Same concept though. Get the constants on one side and the x terms on the other side. And remember, it's up to you. I like my variables on the left side, so that's how I solve my equations. So I want to move this x squared first. Remember, you don't have to do it just like that. The thing is keeping your equation balanced. All right, but I choose to do that. So this x squared minus x squared is 0. That gives me negative 2x squared. Bring down my plus 2. And that equals, bring down this 1. Boom. Now we need to take this plus 2 over here to the right side. The opposite of adding 2 is subtracting 2. All right, still keeping that equation balanced. We bring this down, negative 2x squared. That is 0, and that equals negative 1. Still need to divide by this coefficient of negative 2, right? So divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, boom. I'm left with x squared equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive. All right, so then now I still need to take the square root. When I take the square root, that's going to give me x equals the square root, remember, plus or minus the square root of 1/2. Why is it important that we do the positive and negative side, the plus or minus? That's very, very important because, once again, this is a quadratic equation, which means it's a curve. So if we don't do the positive and negative side, then we actually miss a point where that curve is going to intersect the x-axis. So that's very, very important in this case. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I like to make my examples get a little more tedious as we go. And I like to give you exposure to different types of equations that you'll see. So here, let's go ahead and distribute first. 2 times x squared gives me 2x squared, and then plus 6. That's from the distributive property, right? We bring down this right here. It stays the same. Now, we need to get, I'm going to take this 2x squared to the left side, right? And actually, you know what? I'll try a different approach because some people might do it different. I'll move the constant first. I'll do plus 7 plus 7. All right, that's a plus sign. Boom. So that equals 0. So 3x squared equals, bring that down, 2x squared plus 13, right? Now I need to take this 2x squared to the left side, right? So boom, minus 2x squared. Keep it balanced, minus 2x squared. Boom. 3x squared minus 2x squared is just 1x squared. I don't like to write the coefficient 1, but you can put it there. It's fine because 1 times anything equals that number. All right. So this, boom, bring down my 13. And then, as always, take the square root. So boom, take the square root of both sides. X equals plus or minus the square root of 13. Please make sure you are careful. Sometimes problems like this, people can have a tendency to overthink. That's a common issue with mathematics. But make sure you stop, rewind if you need to. And this is leading to something else. But there are several ways to solve quadratic equations. This is just one method of solving quadratic equations. You'll typically choose a method based on the way the equation is set up. But do me a favor, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And once again, thank you for rocking with me, Young Gurus Math Tutoring. I got the solution to your math problems.